What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. Now, usually we do not post on Sundays, but there was so much action and things to talk about from yesterday that we cannot miss a single recap, so we're back at it on the grind. The Giants and the Padres faced off in one of the wackiest Major League Baseball games that has ever been played. The White Sox embarrassing season continues. This time, it was led by their superstar being benched for not running it out, so we'll talk about that later on. The Yankees and Brian Cashman made an awful trade, and it's getting even worse by the day. We'll deep dive into that. Cody Bellinger hit a second deck home run off a lefty. His swing is looking like prime Bellinger all over again. And 33-year-old Drew Maggi, he collected his first hit in 13 years as a professional baseball player. So we'll talk about the Pirates trying to go for 20 wins. Remember, everyone, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts anytime soon, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off your entire order. And one more thing, thank you so much for 450,000 subscribers. I appreciate all of your support since the beginning. Next stop, 500,000. Now, without further ado, let's get into the games from yesterday, starting off with the Jays and the Mariners. Easton McGee, which is a fantastic name, by the way, he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning versus the Blue Jays in his very first ever big league start. The Jays lineup is no joke, so to do that in your first of, I don't know how many starts he's going to have, but that is super impressive. The only thing is, Toronto's starting pitcher, he kept up as well. Kevin Gausman, he didn't have a no-hitter or anything like that. He just had 7 shutout innings with 13 strikeouts. Over his last 24 innings, he has not allowed a single earned run, and he struck out 24 hitters in those 14 innings. McGee and Gausman's gems, they forced this one to go into extras where Toronto's bullpen stepped up again. They have back-to-back games in which the bullpen did not allow a single base hit. The newcomer Dalton Varsho, he came up with a chance to be a hero, and he did it. His single knocked in Bo Bichette, and the Blue Jays, they walk it off. They have won 6 in a row. The Guardians faced off against the Red Sox, and Rafael Devers basically won a Willy Wonka golden ticket because he got to face Zach Plesac with runners on. That is a 3-run moonshot. That was his 10th of the season. He is one of 4 players in the double-digit home run club. And Manuel Valdez and Christian Arroyo, they brought home a few more runs after that. Arroyo had an amazing game versus the team that dropped him. Cleveland DFA'd Christian Arroyo back in 2020. I saw this kid taking BP. He has insane pop, so it probably felt good to get some payback against the team that did not believe in him. He was the reason wwhy they won. His 3rd hit of the day came all the way in the 10th inning because, of course, Cleveland, they did what Cleveland always does. They stormed back and they tied it up. They actually took the lead, so Arroyo's 10th inning single ties it at 7-7, and Verdugo, he's having his best season yet. He's hitting .301 with 14 RBIs after that walk-off. He also has 2 outs above average in the outfield, so he's playing elite defense. And just a fun fact for you guys, Verdugo already has 7 walk-off hits in his career. That ties Derek Jeter. We have the Reds and the A's. Hunter Green, he kind of got hosed by his defense early in this one, but he didn't let that bother him or slow him down. At least his catcher had his back as Luke Maile cut the deficit in half with his first home run of the year. To be honest, though, both starters were actually pretty dang good in this one. Kyle Muller of the A's, he allowed just 1 run over 5 innings, and Hunter Green, he struck out 10 over 5 for the season. He has a 2.89 ERA and 40 strikeouts in 28 innings. He is getting better and better. The A's got all the way to the 9th with a lead intact, but because they're the A's, of course they blow it. Jake Fraley, he doubled in 2 to steal the lead, and Alexis Diaz, he struck out the side and the bottom of the 9th. They ruined Kyle Muller's chance at getting the first win for any Oakland A's starting pitcher this year. Yes, you heard that right. Oakland has used 9 starters this year. None of the 9 starters have had a win this season for Oakland. So starting pitchers, I think, are 0-16. So we had a few doubleheaders yesterday, and let's talk about the first one, the Pirates and the Nationals. All right, here we go. Game 1, Pirates-Nationals doubleheader. Miguel Andujar, he got called up and immediately made an impact. He singles in Connor Joe, and later in this game, in the 4th, he did not need any help being brought home. That is his 4th home run of the season. Andujar, later on, he tomahawked a fastball at his eyebrows, and from there the game was pretty much over. Rich Hill had 5 strikeouts over 6 1/3, and David Bednar, he has 9 saves on the season, and since 2021 he has a combined 2.23 ERA and an almost 12 strikeouts per 9. David Bednar, he's in that conversation for the best relief pitcher, not just closer, best relief pitcher in all of baseball. So after that W, the Pirates are now sitting at 19 wins. If they can win game number 2 of the doubleheader, they'll be just the 2nd team in baseball in the 20-win club. Yeah, they they entered that club. They scored 16 off of the hapless Washington National staff. Carlos Santana had a multi-RBI day, and so did Jack Sawinski. My God, how far did that baseball go? That 3-run tank job went 445 feet. He is quickly becoming a star. At 24 years old, he has 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, 5 stolen bases with top 10% speed, great defense. I'm not done yet. He's top 3% in barrel percentage and top 1% in chase rate, meaning he almost never swings at pitches outside the strike zone. Skipping to the 7th, oh, there he is, 33-year-old rookie. Yes, 33-year-old rookie Drew Maggi. He finally did it. His first career hit and RBI all come on the same swing. That was 13 years in the making. He played over 1,000 minor league games spanning over nearly a decade and a half. Andy Har, he popped off again. By the way, we can't forget about Vince Velasquez, who threw 6 shutout innings in this one. He has not allowed a run over his last 18 innings. The Pirates are 20-8. They're first place in all of the National League. It seems as if the baseball gods have chosen the Pirates to be the surprise team of 2023, and I am loving every second of it. The Padres and the Giants, game 1 in the Mexico City series. Let me make this abundantly clear. Mexico City has an elevation of 7,315 feet, which is over 2,000 feet higher than Coors Field. So this game honestly was not real baseball, and I'm pretty sure that they also used juice baseballs as well, or at least that's my assumption. That is alleged. I'm not trying to get sued, but there were 11 home runs in this game. I'm going to show all of them as I'm talking because I genuinely do not know how to recap a game like this. 9 of the 11 home runs were hit 430 plus feet, even though some of the exit velocities were under 100 miles an hour. So let me explain real quick. The higher the elevation, the thinner the air, so the less kind of air pressure on baseballs as they fly through the air. That's why Coors Field is so famous, because their elevation is at 5,000 feet. That is very high. So baseballs travel further in Colorado. When you add 2,000 more feet, yeah, you're going to get games like this fairly often. San Diego, they end up taking the lead in the 7th after Machado. He stole the lead on his second home run of the day. Grisham and Cruz, they broke it open to a 16th spot as Nelson Cruz went 5 for 6 with 4 RBIs. Nick Martinez, he shocked the world by throwing 2 no-hit innings to close this one out. Now, a question I have for you guys: should Robert Manfred and Major League Baseball give a silent apology to all of the pitchers who participated in this game? Because the hitters were having a lot of fun, but pitchers, they use ERA in arbitration. They use ERA when they become a free agent. That game right there tanked a lot of ERAs. So for the first time in MLB history, each team went back-to-back twice in a single game. Either way, I had a ton of fun, but I do feel bad for the pitchers. All right, here we go. The second doubleheader from yesterday. The Tigers and the Orioles were facing off in 2 games. Now, Javi, he got it going in the first game with an RBI single. That was followed by Matt Vierling's 2-run knock. Vierling, he then doubled in Nick Maton right after Riley Green brought home another. And Erod, Eduardo Rodriguez, he is really earning those paychecks now. He has a 0.44 ERA over his last 20 2/3 innings pitched, which is fancy for saying he's only allowed 1 run over his last 3 starts. Matt Vierling, he completed his big day with his 4th RBI in the 7th, and Zach Short, he got in on the action with his first home run of the year. Alex Lang, he struck out 2. He is so nasty. He now has 3 saves on the year as the Tigers win game number 1, 7-4. Now, before we talk about game number 2, it would not be a fuzzy video if we did not fanboy over Jorge Mateo. He has 5 home runs. He's hitting .353 with 10 stolen bases, 3 runs saved defensively, and he has a 1.5 F-WAR already. If you don't remember, the Yankees traded him to the A's back in 2018 in that Sonny Gray deal. The Yankees proceeded to break Sonny Gray. Brian Cashman even said that we are going to trade him because I don't think it'll work out in the Bronx. So Sonny, he currently leads baseball with a 0.64 ERA, and Mateo has been in the top 3 for shortstops in all of baseball. A true Brian Cashman masterclass. I have no ill will dunking on Brian Cashman. I don't really like the guy, plain and simple. His ego and condescending attitude really just rubs me the wrong way. So yeah, the Yankees' bad trade just got even worse because Mateo and Sonny Gray have been superstars this year. Even Yankees fans agree with me that they don't really like Brian Cashman. But moving on to game number 2, let's see if Grayson Rodriguez can get that elusive first career W, and maybe the Orioles can bounce back for a game 2 victory. Yeah, they did that. 3 singles from Ryan McKenna, rookie Joey Ortiz, and Austin Hayes. They put Grayson out in front, and they ended up with 4 runs after a wild pitch. Now, Grayson, he put the Tigers lineup in a blender, striking out 9 Tigers over 5. He only walked 1 and did not allow a single run to score. Ryan McKenna connected for a 2-run home run, his first of the season. And speaking of first, that's Grayson's first career W, as Felix Bautista had an easy 9th inning for his 7th save of the year. The Orioles are yet again tied with the Blue Jays for second place at 18-9. So both the Orioles and the Blue Jays are 8-2 over their last 10 games, playing really good baseball. You know who isn't 8-2 over their last 10? The New York Yankees. Again, I am not dunking on the Yankees. I am simply happy that Brian Cashman's master plan, maybe it's injury-based, but his master plan has kind of bitten him in the butt over the last few years. I mean, look at this pick. What even is that? Now, Aaron Hicks did make that play, but that picture only happened because Aaron Hicks had to replace Jake Bauers after that insane catch at the wall. I hope that he's okay. He walked off on his own. So Aaron Hicks came in the game and he went hitless again. He has a 125 batting average on the season. He just needs to be DFA'd already. Juan Brito, he got zero help from his lineup, and that 2-run home run right there was all the difference. That came off the bat of 23-year-old Ezekiel Duran, who is quietly hitting .310 with 2 home runs, 2 stolen bases, and a near 130 OPS plus. Former Yankee Nathan Eovaldi dominated against his old team. He threw a complete game shutout, one more time, a complete game shutout, 9 strikeouts, no walks on 113 pitches. Also, we do have an update on Aaron Judge. He has a mild strain in that hip. No decision yet if he's going to hit the IL, but it could not be worse for Yankees fans. Jorge Mateo is going off. Sonny Gray has been an absolute unit, and then they're getting bodied by the Rangers and having a complete game shutout thrown by a former teammate. The Rays and the White Sox, this was one of the most depressing and pathetic performances I have ever seen. It started with a Luis Robert single. Just kidding. He was jogging out of the batter's box. Even if he was running at 70% speed, I think that he beats that out. So he was benched by the manager. Now, a lot of people are saying he was grimacing and that he was injured, but he went back out there for the next few innings and then he was taken out. So maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. To me, it seemed like he was dogging it. Lance Lynn, he ended up getting some run support and he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. But not gonna lie, that intro clip of Luis Robert kind of dogging it was a bad omen. There is no way you win a game when that happens. And my God, not only did Lance Lynn lose the no-no on that home run to Wander Franco, the White Sox lost 12-3. You had a home run and a 2 RBI single from Wander Franco, who, by the way, is hitting .300 with 5 home runs, 6 stolen bases, and a near 2 F4 already. He's still just 22 years old. Randy Arozarena snapped his fingers and deleted this baseball Thanos style, 433 feet on that 3-run missile. He has 6 home runs and 27 RBIs. Josh Lowe is basically hitting .360 with 5 home runs, 4 stolen bases. Francisco Mejia, he hit a home run as well. And there's Randy again, 7 home runs, a 182 OPS plus. This goes out to all of my White Sox viewers who are still watching. I am so sorry. I'm sending you a virtual hug. You guys deserve so much better. That is 10 losses in a row. One more offensive explosion I want to talk about real quick. The Diamondbacks over the Rockies. Now, if you went for a 20-minute walk because your dog had to use the restroom or something, you missed out on a lot. Corbin Carroll, he knocked in the game's first run, and then the second is where things really popped off. Josh Rojas brought home 2 more. He's got 16 RBIs on the season, and this Geraldo Perdomo kid, he won't stop raking. He's hitting .390 with 2 home runs. He has a 3 DRS defensively and an almost 1.5 F4 on the season. Christian Walker, he's starting to heat up as well. He's hitting .346 with 11 RBIs over his last 11 games. Christian Walker's 4th home run of the year caps it in the final innings. Arizona, they win easy 11-4. The Phillies and the Astros, Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler really got their payback for what the Astros did to them back in the World Series last year. Nola went 8 innings, 1 earned run, and we'll talk about Wheeler in just a second because I got to talk about Castellanos. That's his 4th home run, but wait, there's more. He's hitting .325 with 10 doubles and 17 RBIs, and his defense is up as well. Well, Nick Castellanos playing better defense just means he's playing average defense. Still, he's playing very well this year. Zach Wheeler went out there and threw 5 scoreless with a bunch of strikeouts, but he did hit Martin Maldonado. Maldi thought that he was hit intentionally, and the broadcast team, they dunked on Maldi by bringing up his 130 batting average. Like, why would Zach Wheeler hit a guy hitting 130 with only a 2-run lead? It wasn't on purpose, but a lot of Astros fans are saying it was because of the hit by pitch in the 2022 World Series where Maldonado stuck his elbow guard out. Anyways, Zach, he got some help from Cody Clemens. The kid pimped it. By the way, if you don't remember, Cody Clemens is Roger Clemens' son, for anyone who forgot. Wheeler, he had 7 strikeouts over 6 shutout as they improved to 2 games over 500 after Bohm and Cave. They extended the lead off of Houston's bullpen. Now, before we move on, I do want to shout out Jeremy Pena. He's hitting .292 with 3 home runs over his last 6 games, which is bad news for the rest of Major League Baseball. baseball. The Dodgers and the Cardinals, this might be a hot take, but I'm going to say it anyways. Clayton Kershaw is now the most underrated pitcher in baseball in 2023. Like, I don't think he's been full-blown written off, but because of what happened in 2000 and I think it was 20 or 21, we'll talk about that in a second, he was kind of written off as washed. But almost no one mentions him in the elite starting pitching category anymore. So that second inning RBI single was all that Kershaw needed. He threw 7 shutout innings. Now, the other lefty on the bump was Jordan Montgomery. He was pretty good as well, but Kershaw, no walks, 7 shutout innings, only 2 hits allowed, 9 strikeouts. He now has a 1.89 ERA on the season with a mind-boggling 2.47 career ERA. And again, it all stems from the 2021 season where he had a 3.5 ERA, but since that point, he has a 2.19 ERA, a 2.68 FIP over his last 164 innings pitched. Bruce Dargradderall, he closed it out. I forgot to mention, by the way, Kershaw, he is just 152 strikeouts away from 3,000. He'll get there either later this year or next year 100%. The Brewers and the Angels, Reed Detmers got into a bunch of trouble early, allowing RBI base hits to Willy Adames and William Contreras. Now, staying with Contreras, more madness ensued for the Halos when Williams was hand-delivered a free RBI with a bases-loaded walk, which was followed by a 2-run single from Jesse Winker, who has been terrible, by the way, so it seems like it wasn't just bad vibes in Seattle. He's just really fallen off. Milwaukee, they got another free run on a bases-loaded walk to Caratini, and Corbin Burns, he turned in one of his few quality starts of the year. 6 innings, 5 strikeouts, just 1 run to Mike Trout on a sac fly. Mike Trout, by the way, drove in every single run for the Angels. He belted 2-run monster home runs after the sac fly. So Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, they combined for 6 hits and 5 RBIs, and the Angels lose 7-5. Bring out the Tungsten O'Doyle meme. Miami and Chicago faced off in a pretty fun game. Jesus Sanchez ripped a 2-run double off of Caleb Killian, and the Miami Marlins ended up with 5 in the first inning. But we're going to skip to this home run from Pat, Mr. Wisdom. He has been dropping his knowledge like a Ty Lopez YouTube commercial. He now has 10 home runs on the year, so he joins, I think, Rafael Devers, there's Pete Alonso, Max Muncy. I think those 4 guys, now that Patrick Wisdom is in there, those guys all have 10+ home runs. Jazz and Jesus, they got those 2 runs back on singles in the 3rd and 4th inning, and Edward Cabrera really showed why he was so highly touted as a prospect. He turned 25 just 2 weeks ago, and honestly, the sky's the limit. He struck out 12 over 5, but he did allow 5 walks. But the Miami pitching development team is so good, I think that he's just going to get better and better with command. And oh my, Cody Bellinger, meet outer space. 415 feet on that lefty nuke, his 6th home run of the year. It almost makes me emotional because he just keeps on raking. Chicago made a valiant effort, but Tanner Scott, he struck out 2 in the 9th. He closed it out for a 2nd save as the Marlins, they won by 1. The Royals and the Twins. Now, this game started on a wild pitch and it ended on a wild pitch. Both starters, they were pretty good to start this one. Brad Keller, he did walk 5 just like Edward Cabrera, but he skated around those walks to allow just 1 run on the day. Bailey Ober, he lowered his ERA to 1.59 after striking out 6. Now, neither pitcher was going to get a W because it was 1-1 after they left, and it stayed that way until the 7th when Byron Buxton, he launched a home run. Byron has 34 home runs and a 134 OPS plus over his last 117 games. Just unfortunately for Minnesota fans, the bullpen couldn't hold that 1-run lead. Salvi, he tied it at 2 runs apiece, and like I mentioned, a wild pitch started this thing, and there's another one to seal it. Scott Barlow, after he was given the lead, he shuts it down. He has 4 saves on the year. He's back in business. He has been really good over the last 2.5 weeks. Oh my God, what a recap. Yo, if you watched until the end, thank you so much. I mean, that probably was a lot of work just staying until this point. Now, I gotta edit this thing, so wish me some luck. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you one more time for 450,000 subscribers, and enjoy the web gems.
Carlos Santana, first pitch swinging, pops it up left side. Chavis right at the dugout railing. That's a nice play. And he held on.
Yeah, he did. On the night. And a fly ball, right center. Carlson on the run. He makes another great catch. Hit in the air to left center, fielding deep. Kiner Falefa tracking. Hicks there too. Hicks leaps. It got a little dicey, but Air Hicks at the last moment.
And now a line drive to right field, and Prado makes a sliding play.
Looked like it was going to drop in front of him, and he said, I'm right on this.